Hey, good morning and welcome to UroNurse News. I'm Vic Senese. Today we're looking at early new data on the electronic artificial urinary sphincter designed to treat stress urinary incontinence in men. This device is called UroActive, developed by UroNurse, and interim findings from its first-in-human pilot study were published in the Journal of Urology in February of 26. Now, this is early data, but results are encouraging. So what is UroActive? UroActive is an artificial urinary sphincter, an electronic one, for men with stress urinary incontinence, particularly after prostate surgery. The study's lead author, Pierre Moser of Hôpital University in Paris, and colleagues reported the device was feasible, safe, and potentially effective. Now here's how the system works. An occlusive cuff wraps around the urethra. The control unit is implanted in the abdomen. Patients use a remote control to deflate the cuff when they need to void. The cuff reinflates with sterile saline to restore continence. Cuff sizes can range from 4 to 5.5 centimeters. And importantly, the device includes a fail-safe feature called the UroTimer, which automatically deactivates the cuff if a patient has it voided for a certain period. Now you might wonder, what's the battery life? They say approximately 7 years. So, this is the first in human pilot study. At clinicaltrials.gov, it has an identifier number you can look up. 6 men were enrolled. All had stress urinary incontinence that had not responded to conservative or prior surgical treatment. Every single participant had previously undergone radical prostatectomy for prostate cancer. None had received radiation therapy. Their median age was 71, median BMI was 25, and all men had successful implantations. Operating time for this procedure was about an hour, and device activation occurred after about 5 to 6 weeks. So all pretty reasonable figures. So, how well did it work? Now, this is where things get interesting. From baseline to day 365, daily pad use dropped from a median of 3.7 pads down to just 1. Pad weight, a more objective measure, dropped from a median of 465 grams to just 26.5 grams. So that means even if they didn't know they were leaking, they were, and it's almost cut that down to nothing. 5 of the 6 men achieved at least 75% reduction in pad weight. A 6th patient achieved at least a 50% reduction. Uroflow remained stable throughout the study, and post-void residual at 1 year was negligible. Patients reported substantial symptom improvement. Their UroQoL index improved from 0.95 to 1, and the ICIQ score dropped from 21 to 11. The incontinence quality of life score nearly doubled from 44.9 to 84.1. And the urinary symptom profile score improved from 20.5 to 7.5. Even more compelling, all 6 men said they would recommend the device to a friend or relative with similar incontinence. That's a powerful patient-reported endorsement. And let me tell you from a personal aspect, one of the things that I found most men were most upset about after surgery was incontinence. Men don't deal with it well, so I'm not surprised. How safe is this? Well, there were 10 adverse events reported. 7 occurred before activation, 2 before day 185, and 1 occurred after day 185. 3 events were considered serious: a postoperative hematoma, dysuria, and 1 episode of syncope. Now, the syncope event triggered the UroTimer failsafe. Importantly, there were no surgical revisions necessary. There were also 9 device deficiencies involving the remote control, mostly due to mishandling or minor dysfunction. None affected patient safety. Now, this was a limited pilot study. There was only 6 patients. So while results are promising, larger trials will be necessary before we can draw definitive conclusions. Participants will continue to be followed for 5 years to evaluate long-term activation, revisions, and explantation rates. So why does this all matter? Well, as I said, stress urinary incontinence after prostatectomy remains one of the most challenging quality of life issues for men. Traditional hydraulic artificial urinary sphincters have been the gold standard for decades, but electronic control, programmable pressure, and fail-safe automation may represent the next evolution in continence technology. It's early, but this innovation is worth watching. Hey, tonight on Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy, we're talking about something many couples feel but don't always understand. Sexual intimacy doesn't exist in a vacuum. When desire fades or connection feels strained, the root cause often isn't just physical, it's emotional, relational, and systemic. On Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy, hosted by Dr. Jeff Albrow, he sits down with therapist Claire Postal for a powerful and compassionate conversation about the well-rounded intimacy really means in long-term relationships. So don't miss it. Check in tonight on drjeffsextalk.com. Tomorrow, hot flashes just aren't a woman's health issue, and for men on androgen deprivation therapy for prostate cancer, they can be intense, disruptive, and life-altering. So we're going to break down new evidence showing that an old drug called oxybutynin, a medication you already know for overactive bladder care, may significantly reduce ADT-associated hot flashes. What's the science behind it? Who may benefit? And how does it compare to other treatments? So join me tomorrow for a clear evidence-based look at a surprising solution to a common prostate cancer treatment side effect.
UroNurse News, every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m.